Bob Black is a picture of the best qualities that represent Studs Terkel. Curiosity, empathy, the search for every person's heartbeat. I worked with this pathfinding Chicago photographer for more than 20 years at the Chicago Sun-Times. I witnessed how his graceful spirit coupled with our community. I traveled with Bob to Havana, Cuba in 1991. We went to baseball games, bicycle shops, and underground jazz clubs. I saw how the Cubans responded to Bob's rainbow smile. It was a bridge between cultures. It takes a patient man to navigate that bridge. As he recounted in the recent book, Chicago Exposed, Defining Moments from the Chicago Sun-Times Photo Archive, Bob wanted to make a statement after the April 1968 assassination of Dr. King. It was essential for people to understand how the killing affected the African American community. Immediately after hearing the news on the radio, Bob drove to Liberty Baptist Church at what is now 4849 South King Drive. It was a neighborhood in which he grew up. The church opened its doors for mourners and comfort. Bob was deliberate in taking his photos and respectful of the people in the church. He only used available light. He sat by himself. Bob made a stirring image of a young, weeping African-American woman whose leg buckled under the weight of the moment. It has been said that photography is about capturing the decisive moment. These were moments that would change America. His pictures gave a voice to the community. Later in 1968, Bob also took evocative images of the Democratic National Convention riots in Chicago. On the evening of August 26, 1968, Bob was attacked by two policemen with clubs as he took pictures of a demonstrator at Division and Wells on Chicago's North Side. In 1968, Bob had become the first African-American photographer to be hired at the Sun-Times. He had launched his career in 1965 as a staff photographer for the Chicago Defender. He was 26 years old. He retired from the Sun-Times in 2006. Bob was born in Chicago and he lives in Chicago today. He was the oldest of four children. His father, Clarence Black Jr., was a postal worker. His mother, Elaine, was a crossing guard and hairstylist. Bob attended Chicago Public Schools and Woodrow Wilson Junior College before beginning his photography career. Bob knew he wanted to be a photojournalist since high school. He was drawn into the documentarian soul of photographer Gordon Parks. Every week, Bob purchased a copy of Life magazine to see Gordon's latest work. He watched Defender photographers like Herman Santonio, Tony Roden, also the chief photographer for Mayor Richard J. Daley, and Cleo Lyle to learn how to frame a subject and when to use a flash. Even after the Sun-Times made the switch to digital photography, Bob remained in love with his Leica film camera. He loved the pure and quiet aesthetics of the Leica. Bob was inducted into the National Association of Black Journalists Hall of Fame in 2019. He is a founding member of the Chicago Alliance of African American Photographers. The group was established in 1999 to bring together local African American photographers to promote their work and mentor future generations. Bob captured first place in the 1984 World Press Photo Competition. The award-winning photograph is titled A Tender Moment Between Generations. It is a tight portrait of a sixth-generation granddaughter from Chicago, gently placing a kiss on the forehead of her 111-year-old sixth-generation grandfather. Great love is timeless. Studs interviewed New York street photographer Jill Freeman for his 1974 best-selling book, Working. She told him that she dislikes sneaky photographers. There's no respect, she said. Bob made his pictures through a respectful lens. It truly was an extension of his heartfelt eyes. Bob was beloved by his Sun-Times colleagues. When Bob walked into the photo lab, the photo staff would stand to acknowledge his presence. In unison, they would say, "All rise!" Their command was always followed by Bob replying with a smile on his face, at ease. Bob earned the nickname the Legend within the photo staff. His experiences were vast and often profound. His calm, warmth, and resolve left an imprint on younger photographers. Bob was always generous in sharing his knowledge, which is another reason he was tagged with the Legend nickname. Legend is a term that is often overused, but not tonight. As part of this 27th annual Studs Terkel Community Media Awards, I am honored to introduce my friend, Bob Black, the Legend.
Hello, I am humbled and honored to be one of four recipients to receive the Studs Terkel Award for 2022. Studs was a Chicago institution. He was a premier storyteller and master interviewer. I used to remember driving back and forth to and from assignments, and I would listen to him on the radio. And I could just see him in my mind's eye as he would lean forward on the mic to make a point or to set up a situation where he could get the best results from his guests. And he always made his guests feel comfortable. And they would in turn reciprocate by being very open and expressing themselves very freely with him. Then later I had a chance to see him work up close and personal during the Community Media Workshop award presentations. He always had something special to say about each recipient. Wasn't a lot of words. It was just a few that were personal to that person, that made them, each one of them, feel good, I'm sure. I always, in the spirit of Studs, tried to make sure that my work reflected the diverse communities in Chicago communities, as well as around the world. Studs always spoke his truth, whether it was spoken or written. And he did it with great gusto and with every fiber of his being. And we all have been blessed that he has passed our way and has touched our lives in so many ways. I thank the committee for selecting me, and I will always cherish this forever. Thank you so very much. I have just a few pictures that I'm going to show to illustrate all the experiences I've had that has brought me to this point. Thank you very much.